Bridget's Two Left Feet by Nanny Linda. Bridget was so excited, hurrying to get ready for a visit to the park, tripping over her trainers, which made her dog Sam the Spaniel jump and bark. Sam, so startled from his deep sleep, panicked and scampered into the living room, running headfirst into the vacuum cleaner and tripping over the dustpan and broom, which toppled over gracefully, crashing into her mum's new modern floor lamp, and the lamp then knocked over a vase of flowers, leaving the carpet messy and damp. The floor lamp became hitched and twisted into the curtain's material lace, pulling the curtain pole from its screws in the wall, and it hit Grandpa square in the face. Grandpa let out a great big yell, clutching at his heart, breathing heavy and fast. The shock was so frightening that he then let out a butt blast. Lots of crashing and banging could be heard from thereabouts, and Bridget's daddy Jamie from upstairs began to shout, "What on earth is happening down there? I was having a lie-in. All that noisy commotion, who is making such a din?" "Sorry, Daddy, I tripped over," Bridget shouted up the stairs. "It was just a little accident, and Sam was a little scared." "Bridget, you really must be careful," her mum Amanda cried. "Sometimes I think you have two left feet," and walked away inside. Bridget slumped her little shoulders and scratched her little head. "If you had not told me to get out so soon, I could have stayed in bed." "I heard that. Don't be so cheeky," Mum Amanda shouted through the door. "I just want you to take more care. It's you that ends up bruised and sore." "Bridget," said Amanda, "I need some coffee from the corner shop. Can you go and get it for your dad's morning pick-me-up?" So Bridget collected her trainers and carefully put them on, tying up the laces so as not to leave them loose and long. She didn't want to trip on them and have her mummy say, "Bridget, you have two left feet," yet again today. So Bridget set off to the shop. It wasn't far to go. "Don't be too long, darling, don't dawdle and don't be slow." Bridget walked out to the pavement and closed the garden gate, as she did not want Sam the Spaniel to make a speedy escape. As Bridget came to the row of trees, she heard a little cat cry, and looking up on a high long branch, she saw Mrs. Brown's tabby, Sly. While walking, Bridget continued looking up, and she tripped on the uneven path, falling flat upon her face, and a boy passing just laughed, her arms outstretched into the road, an obstacle for sure, caused a cyclist to swerve and turn, crashing into an open car door. A lorry was travelling and saw the crashed bike and had to slam on his brakes very hard, and some of the bottles of lemonade from the back crashed into an open-top car. And the driver was hit on the head with a bottle, and it really made him see stars. Then there was crashing and banging with smoke and hot fumes as a pile-up occurred with 3 cars. Further up the road, people enjoyed a coffee sat at a pavement cafe. 2 nuns saw the accident and said to each other, "Let's see if we can help in some way." They ran down the street, hitching up their long skirts, as the wind started to gust. A builder's van with a roof ladder screeched to a halt, and the driver swore and cussed. The driver took off on another route, trying to avoid the blockage ahead, passing the 2 nuns who were running with their wimples flying over their heads. The wind caught one nun's flying wimple and was twisting it all around. It caught and got hooked on the builder's van ladder, pulling the nun right off the ground. The nun was screaming and crying as she was pulled into the air. Then a low-flying seagull crashed into her face and nosedived into a chair. As this was all happening, Bridget sat up and looked around in surprise. She had 2 scuffed knees, a lump on her head, a bruised elbow, and 2 very sore eyes. There was uproar and noise and flames and screams, but the cat was nowhere to be seen, and what she could see in the distance was like a scene from Halloween. The seagull that had crash-landed was now angry and flapping about, trying to scavenge some cakes, so the waiter kicked it and started to shout. It flew into another customer, who fell backwards in her chair, knocking over her cappuccino, splashing her face and her new highlighted hair. She jumped up and grabbed a napkin, spluttering and rubbing her face. And as her husband attempted to help her, he slipped and skidded on a strawberry cream cake. He too was now lying upon the ground with a painful aching hip. They tried to help each other up, but his hip was giving him jip. The cafe owner, in a panic, called the ambulance and the police. He had to have a sit-down and was comforted by his niece. Still Bridget sat upon the ground and surveyed the scene in awe. Then she got back onto her feet and walked home and heard her mum Amanda call. "Bridget, what is going on? I've heard such an awful sound. Has there been an accident? Did you see it on your way to town?" "I'm not quite sure what happened," said Bridget, rubbing her poorly head. "I think there was an accident, and I think I'll go to bed." "Oh, Bridget, look at your scratched up knees, your eyes and elbow, and that bump on your head. Whatever happened on your way to the shops?" Amanda, her mummy, said. "I tripped over," Bridget said. "I heard a cat crying in a tree." "Oh, Bridget," her mummy said with a little grin, "you and your 2 left feet.